What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, seems that Jim Ryan has emerged from the depths of wherever he was on his temporary sabbatical. I don't know. And he signed a partnership with NC Soft for mobile stuff. Now, I've been saying this for years. Like, back at the end of the mid to the end of the PS3 generation, Sony got their stuff together. They started making some games, right? Yeah. PS4, they continued it on that same track, right? Boom. But they had no real competition, so they could do whatever they want, but they still maintained in a way. Now with the PS5, they tried to do the same thing, except the only difference is they have competition. Here's the problem with what Sony has been doing for years. Since PlayStation 3, they have not diversified their portfolio. So now they're sitting here looking foolish because all they got is sad that walking simulator games and nothing else, you know? And so I'm like, well, you know, what you gonna do? How are you going to catch up? Basically, that's what the whole games of service thing was. The games of service, and now this mobile move. I'm like, Sony they literally make phones. Why haven't they been trying to make a move on the mobile? It really doesn't make too much sense how Sony is run as a business. I'm not talking about just PlayStation. I'm talking about Sony, Ericsson, their phones. When's the last time you saw anybody with a Sony phone? Exactly. They've been failing at that hardware. And if they made I know they have Vegas or whatever, it's editing software. I don't know how good it is anyway. I used to use it 1,000 years ago, but now I'm I got Premiere. I'm sorry, I don't have Premiere. I'm using DaVinci Resolve, and that's way better. But I'm looking at all the things that they're doing, and they're lacking. They're slacking and they're lacking in all the different areas. And now they're lacking in PlayStation too. PlayStation was their most profitable division, I guess you could say. And now, I don't know if they are. The one thing that they have going for them is that they make the best camera sensors. Okay, let me walk that back. They make the majority of the camera sensors that exist in cameras, all cameras. We're talking about the camera that's in my phone right now. Canon, Sony, obviously their cameras, their DSLRs, their mirrorless DSLRs. As far as the movie, the good cameras, I don't know. I would say yes, probably so. So they have that, but that's a very limited market because it's hardware. And I would assume that Sony would have learned to evolve past just hardware because they see different instances of success past hardware. They see Fortnite, they see Roblox, they see Minecraft. And they were probably laughing at Microsoft, why would you buy Mojang for $2.6 billion? What kind of idiots are you over there at Microsoft? Meanwhile, however, 10 years later, Minecraft is the most successful game as far as sales. It has sold the most games ever. Any video game ever in the history of video games, Minecraft has sold the most. So while they were laughing at this goofy little block game, guess who's laughing now? And so I'm looking at everything that they're doing, and I was watching Sean today, TTS. Shout out to Sean, and he's right. And I said it before too. Sony has no original ideas. They are creatively bankrupt. They have been copying Microsoft, and they have been copying trends for the existence of PlayStation. Since the PlayStation 1 to now, they have been copying and not innovating. You name me anything that Sony has done, and I can show you the instance where they copied. You say, oh, VR. Xbox has VR. Xbox doesn't have VR. They copied Oculus Rift, okay? They copied achievements and called them trophies. They copied charging for online. And they copied the online, the PSN. Xbox Live was first. Xbox Live was 5-7 years before. Xbox Live came out in 2002. PSN came out in what, 2007? I think it was probably. Come on, son. You know? And everybody's like, oh, Sony's the best. Based off of what? A couple of sad dad walking games? That's it? That's all you got. If you look at the innovations in video games, in the industry, Sony is not the one. I would say Mark Cerny's designs are important. I'm not saying they're the best. I don't know whose idea it was to put liquid metal in the console, but that's not a good idea. But, you know, look, they got to do what they got to do to keep their consoles from exploding. So, you know, but I have a feeling that Microsoft is gonna, I mean, they're already gonna leapfrog them. So the inevitable of Sony PlayStation, let's just say PlayStation, losing their position, it's going to happen. It's guaranteed, just based off of how much Microsoft owns and how much money that they pull in. Even though they may not pull in as much money as like the previous year, still doesn't matter. Because if Call of Duty doesn't make as much money as it did before, then guess what? Sony doesn't make as much money as they did before, because they're trying to get that 30% or 20 or whatever the deal is now. So Sony's up Shit's Creek without a paddle. That's a quote from Red Mile? Wow, 8 Mile. Anyway. Well, actually, it's not quite a quote, but he used that reference. Anyway, so this mobile move is just another example of Sony copying. They see what Microsoft has done, right? They got Activision Blizzard. Their worth is just already, they said, what, 50% more revenue, profit, or I think they said profit, 50% more profit in the next quarter or next fiscal year, guaranteed, only just based off of that acquisition. And you look and see how much money their mobile division, like Candy Crush and, you know, just all Call of Duty mobile, all these things, and they just literally launched now Warcraft Rumble, I think it's called. It's ridiculous. It's like they won the lotto. I mean, they paid $69 billion, but that, like, Satya's looking at Phil like, you are a genius. Like, I don't know how you pulled it off, Philip. But you know what? That's what's up. You did what you said you were gonna do. Thank you. That's Satya, because Satya's got to be smiling because shoot, you know. And they knew they knew the numbers. They knew that if they got that acquisition, $69 billion is nothing. Especially if they have it in cash. They have the cash just chilling. They have the cash. They have the cash and they want to spend it because of inflation, you know, so it's going to be worth less. So they want to spend as much as they can as soon as possible. They still have $100 and something billion just chilling or something like that. I think that's what it was, like 112 or 120 billion, just money, just cash. It's cash in the bank, not in the bank, under the mattress, wherever Microsoft keeps their money. That's what they got. I'm like, how can Sony compete with that? You know, the only way that Sony compete was to try to get the CMA and the FTC and all these governing bodies to try to stop the deal. But that didn't work. And Lena kind of looks like a fool now. And now Sony's in trouble. I mean, what goes around comes around, karma and all that stuff. Like I said, I don't believe in karma but I like to use it as just an example. Well, not an example, but just, you know, just an indicator of, you know, you F around and find out. And that's what Sony did. They F'd around with the big dogs. That's like me going up to like Bezos and talking shite. Like, man, you don't know how to run, right? And he's like, piss so sad. I got big gazillions of dollars. What do you got? I'm like, you right. I can't make those moves. Man, I did not expect the fall of PlayStation / Sony. I'm gonna say it's more the fall of PlayStation, because I don't think if PlayStation goes bankrupt or whatever you want to call it, just goes down, it's already lost. Well, Sony as a whole has already lost a lot of market value, but I never thought it would happen this fast. And you know, I thought it would be more gradual. I thought it would be more just like, you know, they're still doing their thing, they're still maintaining, but they're not maintaining. That's the main thing. That's the problem with what's going on with Sony right now. They are not maintaining. They're in chaos. They don't know what to do. Their plans are like, oh, we got to do this. We got to close this. They're making all these moves. They're like a chicken with the head cut off. And I'm sitting here watching it happen in real time. And I'm like, think about it. How do you think that they can possibly turn what is happening to them around to a positive? Like, let's ignore Porter Rock, and let's ignore J-Dub, and let's ignore all these, you know, Reforged Gaming, who says that he quit the console wars because whatever. Let's ignore all of them, because all of that is just noise, right? They're just grasping at straws. Oh my God, Xbox is gonna be third party. I'm like, y'all are idiots. I don't even have the energy to respond to those idiotic claims and stuff, because they're dumb and they have nothing. They have no fuel for the console war, so they're trying to create fuel. It's so dumb. So let's negate their sentiment for a second and look at what's actually going on. Look at what's going on at Sony. Look at Sony trying to copy what Xbox is doing in order to stay there. Now, I would say the only saving grace that Sony has right now is the media is still on their side. But like I said, and like, oh no, as Alex said, you know, he was right. I was right too. That it's about the market. It's about who is the market leader. If more people are on Xbox, IGN's gonna be licking some Xbox huevos. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's the nature of capitalism. If IGN wants to stay in business, then they have to do what they need to do in order to run traffic to their site. And so what that means is, as the Xbox contingent grows, then they will be more positive Xbox news. They'll still try to maintain the Sony side, because there's still all those people on the PlayStation. But the longer that PlayStation goes down and the optics are bad and they don't give you any games, then, you know, they can't do anything with that. They could be negative towards Xbox, but at a certain point, it doesn't work anymore, you know, because they're going to be more popular. And so you can't shite on the winning team, basically. And so, you know, it's goofy, but that's just the nature of the business. And that's part of the business or whatever. So I've accepted it, so I don't get all bent up out of shape for the most part, because I understand what they're doing. You know, so I may seem like I do, but honestly, it's like whatever. You know, as bottom line is the bottom line, but the bottom line for me is that I want the video game industry to remain healthy. So I want companies that respect that are trying to keep it healthy, to help it grow, to be the good guys, if you will. Sony was not really the good guys. I mean, they did what they did, and they sold whatever amount of consoles minus 13 million, because wow, that was the last video, but that's hilarious. So wait, let's do the math. 40 million minus is that 30, that's not 37. Wow, that's 27 million. They're closer to Xbox than I thought, huh? I mean, it's assuming that at the 40 million, they're probably higher than 40 million, but that's funny. Anyway, we did that last video. But the nature of the industry and the nature of, I would say, the alpha games, if that makes sense, the prime games, no, the alpha game sounds better. So the alpha games, meaning Call of Duty, Fortnite, I'll put Minecraft in there because it sold the most, GTA, 5, 6, whatever you want to call it. I would say Spider-Man, but I think they're on like they're on the margins. I don't think they're the mega game. Like I think you got to sell over 50 million to be like, you know, like I said, Minecraft got over 100 something million. Grand Theft Auto, I believe, has over 100 million. And this is units sold, games sold, and so Sony doesn't have any of that. PlayStation doesn't have a 100 million seller game. And so when you look at those games that literally most people are playing, most people buy consoles to play those games on the console, Roblox included. Sony doesn't have that. And so what they were doing, they were fudging the numbers, like I said, the 13 million. And I'm like, dude, I won't mention it. But, you know, people who do that, who make up numbers in order to make themselves look good, are a special type of person. I think they're narcissists, but they might be something else as well. It's ridiculous. How is Sony that? I'm like, why don't you just make good products and sell them to people and be a good company? Because that's all you need to do. You already have the skills to make good products. So why is it so hard for you to be a company that people like? And I would like, really, it really goes down to the leadership. And Jim Ryan was not a good leader. He was not a good leader. He did a couple of things that were okay. Most of the stuff was bad. He increased the price on everything. And the fact that he did that and they're still in trouble, they're still about to get sued. And honestly, I think that was Jim Ryan who did the whole store thing and take the cards off of the other third-party sites. Jim Ryan ruined PlayStation. Look at it. But anyway, look, I'm rambling. I appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. Like I said, hit me up in the comments below, man. Let me know what you think about freaking. It's kind of depressing. If I was a pony, man, I would be like when they shut down the Dreamcast. I was like, you know what, video games can kick rocks, so let's go to the Scripted Club. That's what happened to me. And I did that for about a year. Was it about a year? Maybe 2 years. And then Xbox. But anyway, let me know in the comments, how do you see Sony ending up? Like, end of this generation towards next generation, where do you think Sony's gonna be as far as position-wise? Because I don't see anything that they can do Marathon might be okay, but is it gonna usurp Call of Duty? No, nothing is going to. Jim Ryan admitted it himself, and that was a really bad thing that he did when he said all those things and threw his entire company under the bus. He threw PlayStation and anybody related to PlayStation, remotely related, he threw them under the bus so hard. He threw them under the bus, and then the bus did the hydraulic thing and said shh to get to the curb and squished them. That's how bad he did. The company that he's CEO, he sabotaged. And if you want, go look up the picture where he's signing the NCSoft contract. He's sitting there with I was gonna say a wife beater, but he had a white t-shirt on. And I'm like, hold up. I never seen Jim Ryan with just a white t-shirt on. What's going on here? Did they just pull him out of the back room? Like, all right, you can see sunlight now. But you gotta go back in your cave. You gotta go back in your cage till March. Man, never would have thought it. But yo, I appreciate y'all. Hit up the comments. Y'all know what's up. And I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Till the way.